Hey, what's up? I'm Steve Smith with cultofmac.com. So whenever I hear a PC versus Mac debate, one subject that always comes up is the cost. How much more expensive a Mac can be than a PC? Which got me thinking, how much is the most expensive Mac ever sold? And no, I don't mean one that's been gold plated by a third-party company or even one that's been sold 20 years later at auction. I mean how much they cost when they were first released by Apple back in the day. Then prices adjusted to how much it would cost you now. So with that all said, let's get started. So let's start at number 5, which in my opinion is one of the most interesting Macs on this list. The 20th anniversary Macintosh, also known as the TAM. Designed completely by Jony Ive, which wasn't common back in 1997, which is when it was released. But it was treated as a much more of a luxury product than the iMac. And what I mean by that is that the palm rests on the keyboard were made of leather, it came with a removable trackpad, which was a first for a desktop, and also had a companion Bose speaker system. But one of the strangest things about the TAM is once you'd ordered the machine, it was delivered to your house by a limo. Yes, a limo. Which is what you'd want when you paid $7,499 back in 1997, which today equals around $10,000. The same price as 20 iPad Air 2s, or around 3.5 entry-level Mac Pros. Wow. At number 4, it's Apple's first attempt for a laptop, the Macintosh Portable. As it was Apple's first shot at a portable computer, it lacked a lot of features that you'd expect, including portability. The Mac Portable was a huge machine as it contained a huge battery. Apple had basically shoved their desktop components into a smaller case. It didn't sell very well due to this and was discontinued just 2 years later when they released the PowerBook in 2001. And the asking price for this not-so-portable Mac Portable? $6,500, which in today's money would be around $11,300. Enough to buy 17.5 unlocked iPhone 6s. Much more portable. Number 3 is arguably one of Apple's greatest failures, after Apple Maps. It was the Apple III. Unlike its predecessor before, it was aimed at businesses, a market controlled by IBM back in the 1980s. But businesses either stayed away from its high price tag, bought the less expensive Apple II, or an IBM clone. And not only that, the Apple III was riddled with problems, from hardware to compatibility. At its price tag of $4,340, which is around $11,400 today, it makes the Apple III a rarity to find today. A quick scan on eBay and I found a couple working Apple IIIs, but they're going to set me back around $1,000, and for that I'd much prefer an iMac. Grabbing second place is the Macintosh 2 FX. After the decent success of the Macintosh, in 1990 Apple pushed out a number of similar computers all based around the original, changing up the design and adding a colour display. And it was dubbed wickedly fast, with its 4MB of RAM expandable up to 128 MB, and its Motorola 68030 32-bit processor. But this wasn't enough to make the Macintosh 2 FX a success, as its price tag only appealed to premium buyers. The completely different view of Steve Jobs, who was outed from the company not long before this was released. It cost $9,000 back then, which works out to around $15,000 today, which is enough to buy you a Ford Fiesta with $1,000 to spare. That's a pretty easy choice. And the most expensive on this list, I hear you ask? Well, it's the one and only Apple Lisa. Released in 1983, just 1 year before the original Macintosh, the Lisa boasted technology far superior to any of its rivals that were being sold at the time, with its preemptive multitasking, a more sophisticated OS, and a higher resolution display. So Lisa stood for Local Integrated System Architecture, but it was inferred that it had a personal association with Steve Jobs, as his first daughter was also named Lisa, saying that the acronym was later made to fit the name. Back in 1983, the Lisa would have set you back $9,995, when adjusted equals to $21,600, which is still $8,019 more than the current maxed out top of the range Mac Pro. So there you have it, the 5 most expensive Macs ever sold by Apple. But what do you think? Would you have paid those prices back in the day? Or would you have gone to IBM or another rival? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, please hit the like button as it really does help us out. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single video from Cult of Mac. I'll see you next time.